This program contains graphic violence. Viewer discretion is advised.
May 31st, 2014, Waukesha County, Wisconsin. Two middle school friends commit a vicious crime that echoes throughout the nation.
This is an absolutely horrific crime. It was just almost a bloodbath.
I cannot believe two 12-year-old girls did this because they were influenced by a fictional character.
Did you guys talk about doing this beforehand?
Anissa told me we had to.
Why?
Because she said that he'd kill our families.
For Anissa Weier and Morgan Geyser, everything started with Slender Man.
The Slender Man is technically whoever anybody wants to see him as.
He's an urban legend that lurks in the annals of the internet. Story has it, if you know about Slender Man, he knows about you.
This is horrifying fiction, even for adults.
While tales of Slender Man spread across the internet, Anissa and Morgan are drawn deeper into his web of lies.
It preoccupied their own existence. They wanted to get as close to him as possible.
But the closer they get to Slender Man, the more dangerous he becomes.
He is real. He could kill her. He could kill her family and friends. And she must do whatever he tells her to do.
So when he asks Morgan and Anissa for the ultimate sacrifice, they agree to murder.
Everyone is about to learn and witness how far two young girls will go for an obsession.
Stop! Do it! What were you trying to do with her when you stabbed her?
Kill her.
For some children, nightmares do exist.
Tell me about him.
He watches you. And he has tendrils that are very sharp.
When an urban legend named Slender Man causes two girls to commit a heinous crime, an entire Midwest community is left stunned.
Morgan believed in monsters.
I think I've seen him before.
Morgan thought the monsters were talking to her, telling her what to do. Spying on her, stalking her.
It's a very, very difficult case. Complicated case.
Wanna die? No, of course not. Then this is what we have to do.
Because when you think of attempted murder, you never think that it involves two 12-year-olds
Look, that's how we should kill her.
attempting to kill another 12-year-old at a birthday.
When a young girl believes the only way to keep herself safe is to kill, a copycat crime brings a fictional monster to life.
I didn't want to do this.
Why did you do it then?
I was afraid of what would happen if I didn't.
11-year-old Morgan Geyser has always had a vivid imagination.
Morgan loved horror stories and scary things. She had a huge imagination. And not only did she feel at home where people were exercising imagination, but she felt like she was a part of it.
She liked stories and fantasy-based situations, which was not necessarily like the other kids at her age range.
Morgan wasn't a very popular girl. She was a little odd, she was a little different, and it didn't bother her at all.
But when she begins middle school, everything changes.
Because Morgan is a little different and a bit quirky, other kids sometimes picked on her. She was bullied.
At age 11, Morgan is extremely immature compared to her peers. to the point where she still believes in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny.
Morgan's sense of reality was incredibly skewed. For an 11-year-old to still believe in the Easter Bunny, that is a life-size rabbit who walks upright on its hind legs and goes into people's houses at night. For Morgan to believe that the Easter Bunny exists at age 11 is a skewed dynamic in her perception of reality.
Morgan claims to see creatures all around her. Kevin Osborne of the Waukesha County District Attorney's Office reflects on his encounters with Morgan.
Morgan reported having delusions, conversations with Harry Potter characters, with Voldemort, with Professor Snape.
It isn't just kind of a whimsical belief. She was adamant that these characters existed in her reality.
Morgan doesn't tell her fellow classmates about her visions.
Oh, cute drawing.
And despite the bullying at school, she likes living in her imaginary world.
I think the way that the bullying affected Morgan is it drew her more and more into the fantasy world.
Luckily, Morgan isn't entirely alone at school. She has two friends named Bella and Anissa.
Peyton Leitner was an 11-year-old girl, but most people called her Bella. Bella and Morgan met in kindergarten, and they became best friends in 4th grade.
Is this your cat?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Bella and Morgan were both smart, both had a mutual love for animals. Bella was a bit more popular than Morgan was in school. She was well-liked, and nobody made fun of her.
It's a really big cat.
Bella really embraced Morgan. She had known Morgan almost all her life, so there must have been a comfort level in itself.
Oh, thank you.
And then there's Morgan's new best friend, 12-year-old Anissa Weier.
Anissa and Morgan met on the school bus, and they started finding more and more they had in common. Both of the girls had been bullied in school. It bothered Anissa a lot. She cried about it quite often. And so it was something that bonded them both together, sort of me and you against the world.
They didn't have a lot of friends. And that's one of the reasons they clung to each other.
But while Morgan uses her imagination to tune out the bullies, Anissa's escape is the internet.
Anissa and Morgan were similar because they both had a love for the dark side. They enjoyed tales of horror and fantasy. The scarier, the better.
And that's when Anissa comes across something that catches her eye. It's the story of Slender Man, an image created for fun on an internet forum.
The Slender Man was a fictional character created in 2009. The original modus operandi for the Slender Man is that he abducted children, or that children, in the very least, disappeared after he was present.
But what started as a fictitious character has morphed into an online phenomenon.
Everybody immediately jumped on that and started making their own version of the Slender Man because it was just such an exciting idea to create a supernatural villain.
As the image of Slender Man goes viral, thousands of users create their own online news, photos, websites, and videos, adding to his lore. Some even try to prove he really does exist.
I first heard about it on YouTube. I watched the whole video and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Slender Man is made to seem as if it is real. It is all about simulating the appearance of the myth being based on reality.
Have you heard of Slender Man? Who?
By the time the girls got involved with the Slender Man, he was already pre-established, and there were so many different pockets of the internet talking about him in so many different ways.
He can make his appearance change depending on who's looking at him.
And that must have made him seem overwhelmingly real.
The legend of Slender Man instantly grabs Anissa's attention.
He could be anywhere from 6 feet to 14 feet tall. He constantly wears a suit. He doesn't have a face. His skin is white. And at his own will, he can exploit these tendrils from his back and strangle his victim.
But for Anissa, Slender Man represents so much more. Something she struggles with on a daily basis.
There are a lot of different versions of the Slender Man story, and some of them have him being bullied and being the output of a bullied relationship.
I think what was most appealing about it was that he was accepting of people that aren't what we would call normal. If you don't consider yourself normal, Slender Man will be your buddy.
Anissa is fascinated by the legend of Slender Man and knows her best friend Morgan will be too.
She thought it was really very cool. So she hooked Morgan up with the Slender Man image and with the stories about him.
Tragically for Morgan, she was very susceptible and very open to what Anissa told her.
Who tells you about him?
He's everywhere.
How do you know that?
Because I've read so many things about him.
Morgan easily latches on to the legend of Slender Man, and soon it's all she and Anissa can talk about.
She said, "Oh my God, I think I saw Slender when I was like 5."
Morgan told her, I saw Slender Man.
It has to be real.
That cemented it in Anissa's mind that Slender Man was an actual, real being.
Do you think he can talk? I mean, he doesn't have a face.
I've heard he communicates in a different way.
But the group's third member, Bella, is not convinced.
You've got Morgan and Anissa believing in Slender Man, talking about Slender Man, sharing stories about Slender Man.
It's a dumb internet story.
It was such a central part of Morgan and Anissa's friendship, and Bella really wasn't buying into it.
Three's a crowd, and while their obsession with Slender Man strengthens the bond between Morgan and Anissa, Bella is pushed to the side.
I think it was difficult for Bella. They're pulling away from her because they so desperately want to believe in this horror fantasy.
But the closer Anissa and Morgan get to Slender Man, the closer they come to murder.
He was my only friend for a long time. Because
Why would you hurt your only friend?
it was necessary.
Middle school friends Morgan, Geyser, and Anissa Weier are quickly becoming obsessed with the popular internet story Slender Man.
There's this website called the Creepypasta Wiki.
Okay.
It's full of horror stories that are meant to purposely scare you.
Okay.
And there's one of them called Slender Man.
Tall, slender, pale skin, and most distinguishedly, it's often portrayed without any facial features.
Slender Man is the boogeyman of today's youth with an ever-evolving storyline, thanks to the internet.
In the original version of the myth, he was a silent character in the background that happened to be in a place where mysterious things happened. He happened to be there when children had gone abducted.
Anissa and Morgan binge the internet's endless collection of found footage, photos, and videos claiming to capture the real-life Slender Man.
What is unique and concerning about Slender Man is that the narrative and the character, all of it is designed to make the reader believe.
It has to be real.
Anissa and Morgan are hooked.
For Morgan, here you have an individual who already suffers from delusions and hallucinations. But she has now a shared delusion with her best friend.
The girls eat, sleep, and breathe Slender Man.
Morgan and Anissa feel a real kinship with Slender Man. Part of the Slender Man myth is that he was bullied when he was in school, and that's what they've experienced. So suddenly he's one of them. And the desire to be with him grows even stronger.
Slender Man roams around the forest by himself and occasionally comes out into towns to interact with other social outcast children. And I think this was a very inviting narrative for these two girls.
Clearly, they became totally obsessed. They talked about Slender Man all the time. They were drawing Slender Man, and they were reading Slender Man fiction.
Here you have two girls who are forming some kind of fixation with a drawing that came from the internet.
Did you see him? It was Slender Man, just right over there. Are you sure? Positive.
There's no reality there. It's not based in reality except in their minds.
What is this? What are you guys looking at?
The girl's best friend, Bella, is the only one concerned that something is very wrong.
She said she was scared. And she wondered what we'd gotten ourselves into this time.
Bella was troubled by Slender Man. It really scared her. And Morgan was sending her more and more stuff about Slender Man, and she was so bothered by it that she talked to her mother.
You're upset. What's the matter? Morgan and Anissa, they keep talking about Slender Man, and he's like really tall and like tentacles come out of his back and he's no face, and then you have to go to this Slender Man mansion and do things for him. So he, like, I don't know. I didn't think it was real, but now I'm starting to think it is real.
She said, I was really, really scared by this stuff, Mom. And her mother said, Morgan's your friend. She's been your friend for years. You tell her that you don't want to see any more of that Slender Man stuff, and she's your friend. She'll stop sending it to you.
But just as Bella is pulling away from the nightmarish tale, Anissa and Morgan are drowning in it. According to the myth, if you know about Slender Man, he knows about you.
In some versions, if he appears in your dreams, he's stalking you.
You see him in your dreams, or where do you see him at?
Oh, I've seen him in my dreams.
Other versions of the story say if you haven't proven yourself worthy to him, Slender Man will find you and kill you and your family in a matter of seconds.
Morgan and Anissa wanted to please the Slender Man more than anything in the world, both because he was like a hero to them and because they were terrified of what he could do if they displeased him.
They really did kind of go back and forth between, we worship this guy, we love him, but we're afraid of him. In the end, what it really came down to was, were they motivated by that fear?
We think we see him sometime. I saw him out of the corner of my eye on this side.
When the girls believe that they're being stalked by Slender Man, that means to them that they have to prove themselves to be worthy of him.
If we do exactly what he wants, then he'll stop following us and leave us alone.
Because if they do not, they will be killed, and probably their family will be killed too. So they have to follow his will.
He targets children most. And so I was really scared, knowing that Slender could easily kill my whole family in 3 seconds. So
Whoever said Slender Man was going to kill their families, they latched on to it.
Do you want to die?
No, of course not.
Then this is what we have to do.
It became fact to them, and the two of them then egged each other on.
According to the folktale, there is only one way to save yourself from Slender Man.
he has these proxies, or servants, as people call them.
We have to become proxies.
Okay, so Slender's the big guy,
Yeah.
the top guy, and the proxies are his puppets.
Yes, that's how people put puppets.
Yeah. If we're his proxies, then he won't want to stalk us anymore.
And Morgan said, hey, Anissa, we should be proxies. I was like, okay, how would we do that?
A proxy is someone who does things at the Slender Man's behest.
And we have to impress him.
Humans that are committing acts of violence for him. Being a proxy would be the thing that would save their lives and the lives of those around them.
But according to this legend, if you want to spare your life, you have to take someone else's.
Who would we kill?
I said, okay, how would we do that? She said, we have to kill Bella.
That'll work.
Definitely.
We had to supposedly prove ourselves worthy to Slender.
So what started out as a shared delusion
Look, that's what we should do.
then perpetuated itself into doing a violent act to eliminate one of Morgan's best friends.
And what did you think of this when she was telling you?
I was surprised, but also kind of excited because I wanted proof that he existed.
Do it!
12-year-olds Morgan, Geyser and Anissa Weier are under the spell of an internet urban legend named Slender Man.
The Slender Man is one of the most feared and popular online urban legends.
And rumor has it, as soon as you know about Slender Man, he knows about you.
According to the girls, the Slender Man was a character who seemed absolutely real and was somebody who would threaten their lives and the lives of their families.
The girls believe he's preparing to kill them.
Stalking us.
So they create a deadly plan to stop him.
They seem to believe that they could protect their families so long as they did the things that the Slender Man bid them to do.
If we didn't kill Bella, that he was either would or could kill our families and everything we love.
And in doing this, they were going to have to murder someone.
Do you want to die?
No, of course not.
Then this is what we have to do.
To use a religious analogy, it's more like a sacrifice to a god. And you gotta prove your worth to Slender Man that you should be one of his proxies.
Who would we kill?
So they choose their best friend Bella as their sacrifice.
For Morgan, once Bella said that she didn't believe in Slender Man and he frightened her, she then became the intended victim.
That'll work.
There's a lot of stuff brewing in those two girls' minds, and the combination of these emotionally fragile 12-year-olds form the basis for wanting to kill Bella.
After months of research, the girls come up with a plan. They're going to kill Bella at Morgan's upcoming birthday party.
Yeah, good idea.
No one's going to be at my birthday sleepover. You have no idea how difficult it was not to tell anyone.
It's perfect. We should definitely do that.
Why do you think it was your sleepover night then?
Because we would all be together. It was a flawless plan, actually.
The girls will put duct tape over Bella's mouth while she sleeps so they won't hear her scream.
Hey, Bella.
And then they'll flee to a place they've read about online called Slender Mansion.
Supposedly, Morgan found out that Slender lives in the middle of... Slender has this big mansion. And it's supposedly in the middle of Nicollet National Park.
Once the girls arrive at Slender Mansion, they will find refuge and protection, and they will be part of a group that's considered worthy by Slender Man. The girls believed this was protecting their families.
A month before Morgan's birthday, the girls invite Bella to the party. They hope she'll accept since Slender Man has strained their relationship.
It's tragic because Bella was excited about going to Morgan's birthday. Who doesn't want to go to a birthday party? Her excitement was normal and natural in something that was incredibly unnatural and horrifying.
People who trust you become very gullible, and it was sort of sad.
With Bella on board, Morgan and Anissa pack for their journey to Slender Mansion, over 300 miles away.
We put pictures of our family inside the purse because Anissa said we might never ever get to come back. I didn't like that idea because I would have missed my daddy.
It was part of their fantastical thinking process that those girls thought that they could walk there. They prepped for the night by putting changed clothes, water bottles, snack bars, crackers into their knapsacks, as if that was enough.
This'll work? Definitely. I think you should take these.
Yeah, we should spread it out.
Then, Anissa writes her family a text message. Which she plans to send after the murder.
All these girls wanted to do was to get to Slender Man because they honestly believed
Ready? Yeah.
if they could get there, Slender Man would protect them from anything. That was the only way to make their families safe.
And now, after weeks of anticipation, Morgan's party is finally here.
You always have a sleepover night?
I did last year too. It was more fun last year though, obviously.
They were going to Skateland, which Bella absolutely loved roller skate, and they were going to watch a movie, and Bella brought her American Girl doll along so that they could play with their dolls that night. It shows you how young they really are.
To anyone else looking in, here were three 12-year-olds enjoying a birthday party, enjoying each other, and having a great deal of fun. You could never have known that two were planning to murder the third.
We kill Bella, put her under some covers, make it look like she was sleeping, and then we run.
That was the original plan?
Yeah, until it changed.
Hey guys, thank you so much for inviting me. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Morgan decides that she doesn't want to go through with the plan that night.
The girls are exhausted from skating, too tired to kill.
They gave Bella more time. It was a gift, if you will. But it didn't change the underlying fact that they believed in Slender Man, they wanted to be his proxy, and at least Morgan believed that if they didn't do it, harm was going to come to him.
There was no other choice. They decided it was absolutely necessary to kill Bella, and they would do it the next day.
What was your next plan after that?
What we did.
What did you do next?
I already told you.
What was that?
Stab, 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 stab.
12-year-olds Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier are in a fight for their lives against a monster created on the internet named Slender Man.
The two girls believe that Slender Man is stalking them. That he will take his revenge on them if they do not do what he wants.
According to a lot of online stories, the Slender Man is absolutely deadly. The thing the girls believed was that in order to do what the Slender Man wanted, they had to kill someone.
So the girls decide to kill their best friend Bella at Morgan's birthday slumber party. After the murder, they'll hike to Slender Mansion in the woods and live there under his protection forever.
Hey guys, thank you so much for inviting me. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
I wanted to give her at least one more warning.
You wanted to give Bella one more date?
I wanted to see if I could put it off forever, but it didn't seem to work out like that.
Good morning. Have you ever actually talked to him? No.
When the three girls wake up, Morgan's mother has an ideal adolescent breakfast. Donuts and strawberries. And they enjoy sitting around eating them.
Hey Mom, can we go to the park today? Sure. Just finish your breakfast, okay?
We asked her mom if we could play outside at the park, and her mom said, sure.
It's hard to imagine how anyone could have had the imagination to grasp the horrible possibility of what was about to happen.
While the girls get ready to head out, Morgan grabs a weapon.
Where'd you guys get the knife from?
My kitchen.
As soon as Morgan picked up that knife, Bella's fate was sealed.
It's very, very clear. It's now or never. Morgan is choosing to murder Bella by taking that knife.
At the park, the girls believe they need to act fast.
The girls felt it was urgent to do it that day because they didn't know, was Slender Man watching them? If they didn't do it, would he be disappointed and take action? They couldn't take that risk. It was necessary. It had to be done that day.
She lifts up her winter jacket and shows me the handle of a knife.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking, dear God, this is really happening.
The girls decided to play hide and seek because it was a good way to get Bella into the woods.
There's more places to hide this way.
Okay, whatever.
And getting her into the woods means it would be less likely that she would be seen or heard.
She was gonna hide one place, I was gonna hide another, and then Morgan and I were gonna be like lionesses chasing down a zebra.
How could Bella not see that something was wrong here? And I think the answer is that she's a 12-year-old girl. She's focusing on playing fun.
Okay, who's counting? I'll count. 30 seconds? Sounds good. Yeah, go hide.
It never clicks. Oh my God, they're trying to kill me.
30, 29, 28.
We led her there and tricked her.
20.
Bella thinks they're playing an innocent childhood game. But soon, things take a turn for the worse.
Ready or not, here I come.
Why did you guys go over by the woods?
Because we knew what we had to do. I finally just had enough and said it now, because I was starting to get a little freaked out.
We're here. What? Lisa? Stop! What are you doing? Stop! Stop! Morgan! What are you doing?
Morgan jumped on top of Bella and started stabbing her repeatedly.
Stop! Do it!
I didn't know what I did. It sort of just happened. It didn't feel like anything. It was like air.
While Anissa stands by, Morgan stabs Bella 19 times.
And that's when I turned around because I couldn't stand to see.
Please! Please! Ow! Please! Stop! Stop!
She told me that she got her in the lung, right here 6 times, and then like in the leg a few times.
And finally, after the 19th wound, Morgan grows tired and steps back.
Help me!
And still, Bella's trying to get away.
I'm gonna go get some help. Lay down, it will help with the blood.
Anissa says, Bella, lie down. We'll go for help. You just lie down. You'll lose less blood.
So we told her we were gonna get help, but we really weren't. We were gonna run and let her pass away. So we ran. Last thing she said to me was, "I trusted you." And then she said, "I hate you."
Morgan and Anissa take off for Slender Mansion, over a 300-mile hike to the Nicolet National Park.
You guys walked or you guys were running?
We were walking because we didn't want to look suspicious. We were already covered in blood, which looked suspicious.
They were excited, they were elated. It appears that they thought this was truly going to happen, that they would become disciples or servants for Slender Man.
But little do they know, Bella is still fighting for her life.
Bella knew that if she just laid there and did nothing, she was going to die. And she wanted to live, so she started crawling.
She's in shock. I don't think she grasps the severity of what's actually happened to her. She knows she needs help, because if she comes out of the woods bleeding and screaming, they're not getting away.
Bella is determined to survive. But will she live to tell the tale? Morgan, Geyser, and Anissa Weier stabbed their best friend Bella 19 times in order to save their own lives from the deadly internet monster Slender Man.
Who's Slender Man?
He's this tall, faceless man who preys on children.
Ever met him?
Not exactly.
Although he's just an internet myth, Anissa and Morgan believe he's real. And now they're hiking to Slender Mansion to live with him forever. But there's a hitch in their plan.
I wanted to be locked up so that I couldn't hurt her.
It was amazing that with all these knife wounds in her arms and legs, that Bella was still able to crawl and was able to get herself to someone who could take her to safety.
As it happens, a cyclist sees Bella wounded on the side of a trail. He immediately dials 911.
911 came upon a 12-year-old female. She appears to be stabbed.
She appears to be what?
Stabbed.
Stabbed?
Correct.
Sir, are you with her right now?
Yes.
Is she awake?
She's awake.
As the paramedics rush Bella to the hospital and into surgery, a manhunt for Morgan and Anissa ensues.
It was a massive, all-out search to find these two missing girls. There were cops on the ground, there were airplanes in the air. They were covering the territory with everything they had.
In the woods, the devastating reality of what they've done is catching up with Anissa and Morgan.
So we were walking, and then I had a total nervous breakdown and blamed Morgan for everything. I said, "You stabbed her. You wanted to do this." I actually said, "I've had enough of this. I want to call my mom. I want to go home. And Morgan said, if you do that, you'll spend your life in prison. Either that or be executed. Morgan said, Slender, if you're listening, please help us.
I think they initially thought as they were walking that somehow Slender Man would appear and then they would be transported there because they had done what they claimed he had requested of them.
5 hours after the stabbing, Anissa and Morgan are apprehended without resistance.
They saw blood on Anissa's shirt. The most alarming thing the police found on them was the murder weapon in a backpack.
At the police station, the girls are separated.
I just remember that we went forward and forward, and actually we were singing the whole time. We took turns singing songs to each other. We were surprisingly calm, actually. It was like we hadn't just killed someone.
They had no sense of consequence. They had no sense of remorse. They certainly had no empathy.
Anissa's main concern has nothing to do with Bella.
Can I ask a quick question? Sure. If I just wanted to know how far I walked, because I'm usually not very athletic.
I think there's a relief aspect of, I'm so glad we don't have to try to walk to the Nicolet National Forest, and I'm so glad we didn't kill Bella, but there's also an unrealistic aspect, which is I think they both really believe that they would tell the police what happened, and then they would go home.
Anissa and Morgan give full confessions to the detectives. They are both charged with attempted murder.
In Wisconsin, when we have somebody that's pled not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, there are 2 phases. Phase 1 is a guilt phase. The state has to prove that the person did it. Phase 2 is, okay, they did it, but did they do it because of a mental disease or defect?
Both of the girls are punished for their crimes.
Anissa was found guilty of attempted second-degree intentional homicide and then found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. Morgan was found guilty of attempted first-degree intentional homicide and not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect.
The judge orders Anissa Weier to 25 years and Morgan Geyser to 40 years in a mental health facility.
Morgan was seen by quite a few doctors before this case was over, and every single one of them came to the same conclusion that she had early onset schizophrenia. She's unable to separate reality from fiction. She hears a voice, she sees a vision of Slender Man. She doesn't realize it's coming from inside her own mind.
The story is horrifying to everyone, but it does have somewhat of a happy ending. Bella survives the attack.
Bella is in surgery for 6 hours. Bella's first question after surgery was, did they get them? She was told, yes, we got them.
For Bella, she survived. Her wounds may heal, but she clearly has emotional scars that will take a long time to heal.
In the end, Slender Man still exists in the minds of those who believe.
The Slender Man was not originally real. The Slender Man did not originally exist as he is. However, all of the people creating stories about him and wishing him into belief made him real through the internet.
So what did you think was going to happen after you stabbed Peyton?
I don't really know. I figured that I'd get in trouble eventually, though. Because, Mommy always says that whatever you do catches up to you eventually. And it did.
You have to pay attention to what your children are doing. If you give them unfettered access to the internet, there are lots and lots of bad things on the internet. It's not just Slender Man.